Agents podcast.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen in LabCoat Nation, welcome back to another episode of the LabCoatAgents podcast. And it is a great pleasure to bring in a couple of old hats, great friends of LCA. And you know what? It's actually been a while since I've talked to these guys. Tristan has the pleasure of talking to them all the time. So I am going to steal the spotlight today, pick some brilliant minds, and we're going to go deep on what they are experts at, which is conquering the real estate world and taking down the lead portals. I think that's probably the best way I'm going to describe it. Gentlemen from Ylopo, Howard, Tager, Juefeng Ge, welcome to the show, fellas.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Jeff. Great to be here.
So, fellas, I don't always assume this is a different platform. We're on the podcast today. We're not live in LCA. So I think we have a whole different set of potential ears. Let's not assume everybody knows who you are. Let's give a short little intro to who you guys are, and then take it away with what the hell is Ylopo and how did it get started?
So G and I are the co-founders of Ylopo. Ylopo is the last 5 letters of the word monopoly spelled backwards, symbolizing turning the ultimate game of real estate on its head. So our mission is to zig when everybody is zagging and disrupt the industry. And the most important part of our mission is to equip real estate agents, teams, and brokerages with digital marketing technology that even the big guys don't have. I mean, our mission has never been more clear and more important than now, with the onslaught of all these publicly traded multi-billion-dollar companies, Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, Redfin, HomeLight, Open Door, like the list goes on, right? And everyone's worried about, commission compression. Everybody is under, onslaught from these big companies who want to take percentages of agents' commissions, right? Referrals. And these big companies also want to control the ancillary revenue streams, the mortgage, the title, the escrow, and all that kind of good stuff. So there's a massive shift that's happening. And little old Ylopo, which was started proudly at my dining room table with G and a few other people. Heck, we've got like next month, Jeff, we're going to go over 2,000 teams, not agents, but teams on our system. Like, it's nuts, right? Because we're solving a really important, need and a problem that's going on, which is like everybody's been like paying money to these big portals, and then the portals are taking your guys' hard-earned money and they're advertising their own brand and not your brand, right? And it's like got crazy expensive, and they want to put their hand in your pockets and take your commissions, and they want to control mortgage and all that kind of stuff. And we're like, just stop the craziness, right? Like, we can help you dominate your market, however you define your geographic market. It's all about your brand, and the cost is like 1/10 of what it would be with all these big guys. And we'll never put our hands in your pockets for your commissions. And if you want to build your own mortgage, revenue stream, title, escrow, whatever it is, that's yours, man, because these leads are yours. So I'm like, as you can tell, and I'll let G get a word of edgewise, I am pumped up to be on the right side of the fence and working hand in hand with our agents and teams and brokerages to help them fight the fight against these massive companies.
G?
G.
This is what always happens. Howard gets excited, and then we're off to the races. Yeah. So my name is G, co-founder with Howard. I focus on the digital marketing and product side of Ylopo. And, to piggyback off of what Howard said, I think obviously you've got the portals, which dominates a crazy number of eyeballs. But if you were to say, okay, what would be the biggest threat to the portals from just a consumer eyeball perspective? If what companies came into the market would threaten the portals business, I would say 2 of the first 3 names you would name would be Google and Facebook, right? The good news is you as an independent agent can have access to that disruption and power through Google AdWords and Facebook ads, right? And I think of all of the ways that you can generate leads online, the only two of substantial scale outside of the portals are going to be Facebook and Google. And so for any team that is investing heavily in the portals today and need to allocate those dollars somewhere else that is just as, if not more effective, and can do it at the scale that you're used to with the portals, it's going to be a combination of those two, right? And that's what, we have spent all of our time here at Ylopo figuring out how to be masters at marketing in those channels, from a lead generation and lead nurture, and then how to convert those leads with automation as well. So that's kind of really what my perspective is on this debate from a digital marketing perspective.
And I don't even know if I don't know if I'd call it a debate.
Amazon would be pretty disruptive if they came in.
Of course, that would be the third. Right? We're not advertising in Amazon.
Slightly. Well, but fellas, here's the thing I want to ask you is that, so I've gotten to know you guys over the last couple of years, and the conversations we were having 2 years ago versus what we're having today are just, it's light years. It's like things are happening so damn fast. When you guys started Ylopo, tell the audience, like, what was your initial objective? And now where are we going? Like, what has the progression been? Because like you said, G, even with automation, which has been, you guys are out ahead of that. But what do you see? So like, take us back and now take us where we are today and where we're going. Because I think that's what I know I'm interested to know that. And anybody who wants to be successful in the real estate career needs to have a focus on like staying out ahead.
Gee, you want to take it or you want me to take it?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so we came out and we said, okay, with this little old company in my dining room, right? So what are we gonna do? For G and I, all the fun is in doing new stuff. Again, zigging when everyone's zagging, right? So what we looked around and we said, okay, you got all these people doing the same thing. They're all doing Google pay-per-click, the way that we started doing it back in the old Tager days in 2007, right? Nothing's changing. They're all building CRMs, all in one systems, right? So we said, you know what? No one's doing social media marketing really well, and so we rolled up our sleeves and we actually got really close with Facebook. And it's like such an honor. Like, Facebook's done 3 business case studies on us. We're only one of 3 companies that they wrote up in their digital marketing report for real estate. And we worked with them to come out with the most sophisticated lead ad technology in terms of our dynamic, ads for real estate. And we really kind of sort of disrupted that first. So we said, you know what? We can actually create effective marketing through social media, Facebook, Instagram. And then we said, look, we got a lot of folks who've been buying leads for a long time. They've got these big old databases, and those big old databases are just dead. So why don't we go like next level, again, roll up our sleeves with Facebook, and then do dynamic remarketing to keep your buyers and your sellers coming back. So it was like, what we did was we said, look, if these consumers get all the way down to the Zillows of the world, it's too late. So we're going to help you guys. We're going to help real estate teams fish upstream, get the relationship with the buyer and seller out of the water, put it in your fishbowl, and then keep them coming back to your fishbowl with your brand on it, right? So then we took dynamic remarketing to the next level. And then we were like, okay, we're generating so many opportunities, but our clients are overwhelmed. They got too many opportunities, right? So we're like, okay, we created this like priority alert system. So we could literally tap agents on the shoulders. And the second that a consumer did something elevated and made them hot lead, right? We could tap them on the shoulder with a priority alert saying, hey, this consumer just made a showing request, or this consumer just sent a listing to their significant other, or this consumer just looked at a home for the 4th time, right? And then we took it to the next level and we said, okay, we're showing them like the priority, leads and all that kind of stuff. But people are still not following up. They're so busy. So then we developed Raya, which is real estate AI as your assistant. And that's where we can give everybody literally a digital ISA for like a couple $100 a month versus like having a real ISA at like $4 or $5 grand a month. And Raya can have 50,000 concurrent texting conversations with consumers at the same time. So she's literally like, my clients will wake up, Jeff, and they'll be like, holy cow, Raya's been talking to someone for like 30 minutes. I'm going to go in, turn her off, pick up that conversation, get an appointment, right? So we just every year we just keep developing more and more and more. And candidly, we weren't all that good in 2016. And we sucked a little bit, less in 17, and we got pretty good in 18, and we crushed it in 19, and 20 we hit that park, because we'll never stop developing new tech. Like the dynamic video ad technology, nobody's got that in the space. That allows you to like basically, you get a new listing, like grab the MLS number, go into Mission Control, put it in, like choose $65, choose an ad template, hit go. Now you're running radio and television commercials all over digital, right? And like you can run hundreds of videos like for like hardly any cost, right? So it's developing cool and new tech that, again, you're not going to get with the big guys. We're just going to sell you a flat lead, like here today, gone tomorrow. And that's kind of our story. And we're just never going to stop developing cool tools for our clients.
Anything to add to that, G?
Yeah, I think what makes us different as a company, and Howard kind of talked about this quite a bit, is that we're a digital marketing first platform. We don't have our own CRM. We integrate with best-in-class CRMs. We're a one-to-all platform rather than an all-to-one platform. And the reason that's so important is we have the focus, we have the expertise, and we have the technical ability to chase whatever is the most effective form of digital marketing that's on the market, right? And in 2016, 2017, that was Facebook, and it still obviously is Facebook, but at that time there wasn't Facebook lead ads. There wasn't dynamic ads for real estate. There weren't a lot of tools that are available today that makes Facebook marketing much more sophisticated from a real estate perspective, right? And so that was where we, saw the opportunity. In the last year and a half or so, we took a really close look at Google AdWords and realized, hey, things have been done basically the same for over a decade now, and a lot's changed about Google, and a lot has changed about how our technology can integrate with Google. Let's take a totally different new approach here, right? And we've seen, we went from kind of helping our clients manage $100,000 of media in June to we are going to be over 500,000, actually in July, and we're about to be 500,000 in November. That's how quickly we've grown, because the results have been so good. Going forward, who knows, right? I have some guesses, but who knows what will emerge as, other great digital marketing sources. We're obviously very committed in going as deep as we can on Facebook and Google, and we can talk about some of the innovations there. But Amazon's ad platform has been, kind of great for e-commerce. Don't necessarily see it as potential for real estate just yet. Both Snapchat as well as Pinterest have both released their version of dynamic ads, which aren't programmed for real estate yet, but could certainly get there fairly soon. All of these are unknown opportunities that are kind of either cutting edge or on the fringe on the digital marketing side. But what excites me is that we have a business where, in fairly short order, I have the focus, and the ability to just try all these things out, and some of it will hit, and they will be major sources of high quality traffic for our clients, and some of them won't. But the luxury of our business is that we have the ability to find out, right? And that's what happened with Facebook. That's what's happened with Google. And I'm excited about the next thing.
I love that. And if I can add kind of a personal testimonial here, and the first time I met Howard was 2 years ago in St. Louis. And I remember Howard, Ylopo was relatively new-ish. It was definitely new to the Midwest, new-ish.
Yep.
And Howard was talking about, I still distinctly remember this, and I still bring this up. He talked about how he sees the future as Pinterest. The future's still Pinterest, in my opinion, and I still don't see it, but I pay attention to when smart people talk. And one of the reasons why I finagled my way into being the podcast host is because then I get to talk to smart people all the time. And so now here we are talking about this stuff. And the thing I want to point out to our listeners is this. This is why you should pay attention to what Ylopo is doing. I mean, if you haven't figured it out yet, Howard and G are like two of the most brilliant minds in real estate. And if even if you are not in love with what it currently is, if you want to stay out ahead, you want to hitch your wagons to Ylopo, because these guys know they are out ahead. They may not say, they're not going to admit it. G's going to be very modest. I know G well enough to say, I have no idea what's coming. Bullshit, G, you know exactly what's coming. And I can't wait to talk about what that future looks like. But before we do that, I do want to make sure the listener, I know not everybody's Barry Jenkins, not everybody's listening to this and knows Ylopo inside and out. So explain to our listener how it currently works. And then from there, let's take it to where we see the future going.
At the highest level, our job is to generate as many relationships and opportunities. Now, people know this as lead gen, but I hate the expression lead gen, because a lead is, what is that? It's an inanimate object, right? So we're creating new relationships, buyers and sellers, for our real estate agent clients all the time. And we can generate as many as you want. You want 100 a month, you want 1,000 a month, like we can generate that, right? I mean, one of the really exciting things is that, like Google, which has been around forever, we're doing new and exciting dynamic marketing on Google. That's really changing. And we're now being able to generate opportunities on the Google side that are farther downstream than social media and closer to what the portals have been generating for a long time. Really, really cool stuff. So like, we're always looking at the new platforms like Pinterest, but we're still like, we're working, the Google stuff, because that's changing, right? They're evolving. And so we're doing some cool stuff there. So like new opportunity creation, that's what my clients want. They want more buyers. They want more sellers. Some of them even want to use this for recruiting, right? Get more agents, okay? Opportunities. And then second, I would say the second big bucket is nurture, which means automatically nurturing your database so that you don't have to spend your time doing it, which means constantly bring back your buyers, constantly bring back your sellers to your brand all the time. We do that with tech, okay? We're just constantly bringing them back to your fishbowl. The third piece is lead communication. That's where we use Raya, the AI, to constantly proactively and reactively to communicate with your consumers. So if their buyer's getting really hot, Raya cannot wait for you. Raya can just start communicating with them with pinpoint accuracy, right? Same thing on the seller side. And then the fourth bucket would be that brand presence, smothering your market, right? With your brand, your listings, your team, your message, so that every day our clients can wake up feeling good that, like, hey, I know that people are seeing my brand everywhere. It's left, like left jab, right hook, right? Left jab, right hook. It's getting in front of people all the time. So on that third or fourth time of like seeing our clients, they're like, yep, I really trust them. I know them. I want to work with them, right? So we're doing 4 major things all in one complete integrated solution. And as G said, we let our clients use the CRM that they want to use. They want to use Follow Up Boss. They want to use LineDesk. They want to use Sierra. They want to use FirePoint. They want to use Chime. They want to use Salesforce. They want to use Infusionsoft, HubSpot. We integrate with those CRMs, so you don't have to be prisoner to like an all-in-one system where this tech company says you got to use our CRM and do our marketing, right? And then they don't do either one great. They're just kind of average of both. We give, again, freedom back to the real estate teams where they can use their CRM of choice and they can use their digital marketing of choice. And by the way, we're super happy when somebody's also buying leads from other sources, because we get it into our nurture and communication system so you can double, triple your ROI from even other lead sources. So that's what we're doing. And where we're going in 21, I mean, we're building more and more tech. We have a lot of independent brokers who are under assault from these big publicly traded companies, and we're going to build more tech for them. We're going to get out the listing rocket, the dynamic video ad listing rocket technology, trying to get that out to more and more agents across the country. We're going to be moving into the mortgage space next year as well. So we've got, in many ways, Jeff, we got too many opportunities, right? And so, we're just going to stay focused on what we do well.
Is there such a thing?
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's get a little granular on that. I want to know, like, what are you guys working on right now?
Well, first thing I want to point out that I think a lot of companies lose sight of the basics. One of the basic things is we're committed to trying to have the world's best home search experience for our clients and for their consumers. So we just dropped 7 figures and we're about to drop our new home search experience because, again, we want our clients to get their consumers searching on their own branded sites, not on Z, RDC, HL, OD, all these big, portals, right? So we've got to invest in some stuff that may not seem like it's new, but like we'll never stop investing in that because it's where the opportunities are created and it's where we bring them back to, right? So that's a big release that's about to come out. We're working right now with about 50 or so clients still testing out the seller lead product, yep. Seller suite. So, sellers and listings is huge right now. That's like, everybody wants sellers. Everybody wants listings. So we're hearing that loud and clear. And we've got some really awesome testing going on in like 50 markets for seller lead generation, as well as seller nurture, right? Creating a financial we did an awesome integration with HomeBot. And, we're not only generating the seller opportunity, but we can bring the sellers back so they can interact with the financial DNA, of their home. G, what else? What else are we working on?
You know what? Before you go deeper, G, explain what that looks like. So let's talk about the beta that you guys are talking about, where you're in 50 markets. Explain to me in layman's terms. Assume everybody listening is as dumb as I am, and I mean that in the nicest possible way because I'm really dumb. What does it mean?
No one believes you, Jeff. You can say it all you want. We know you're a smart cat.
You know what? In this room, I'm really dumb.
Not true. Go ahead, G. You want to explain seller lead gen and seller nurture?
Sure. Yeah. So starting the very highest level, what we typically see is that you can generate a high volume or higher volume of seller leads for a cheaper price on Facebook and Instagram, right? Nationwide, I believe we're averaging right around $8 to $10 per lead generated, on Facebook. On the Google, the challenge with that channel though is that most of these people are at the very beginning stages of thinking about selling their home, right? They're typically getting a homeowner who gets targeted with an advertisement, and going from that funnel of seeing something on Facebook to I'm actually ready to sell my home is probably, I don't know, a 6 to 12 month journey at least, right? With Google advertising, what we see is that there is a much higher cost per lead. Nationwide, we're probably closer to $40 cost per lead right now. But the quality of those leads are much higher, right? Because those people have search intent. They're going on Google and they're typing in, I want to sell my home fast, market value in Virginia Beach, etc. And so we have been mostly focused from a testing perspective right now on figuring out how we get more and more efficient on the Google side. We feel like we're doing a great job on the Facebook side. And if you want to farm a lot of those opportunities where you have their home address, you have some intentionality of that they're interested in selling, and you want to work those leads over a long period of time, we have a lot of clients that do that and do that successfully, right? But if you're looking for a seller lead that is closer to wanting to transact in the next couple of months, right, then Google, I think, is the place to go. Because these people start their search with something, right? And so when you look at Google for sellers at a very high level, it's a different challenge than for advertising for Google for buyers. And the reason is because on the buyer side, a lot of the opportunity is in the keywords that no one else is targeting well. Right? Someone who's looking at subdivision homes for sale in this area that no one else is bidding on, but has 12 homes on the market and is really hot. If you bid on it at the right time with the right ad, you're going to get a great lead. That's buyer marketing. On the seller side, there's not a lot of keywords that people are typing in to ultimately sell their home, right? Like market trends, market values, sell my home fast, what's my home worth? We all know what those keywords are, right? And so it's very rare that you can win on seller marketing with a better keyword strategy. What you're going to win on is the user experience you provide to the consumer. And that user experience in the industry is very subpar. That's our belief, right? That's our core thesis. And the reason for that is most platforms either do one of two things. They send you a page, it has an address bar on it. You type in 123 Main Street, and they have a form that pops up that says, fill out this form, and we're going to tell you what your home is worth. And you fill out that form, and it says, thank you for filling this out. Someone will contact you, right? Or they give you like a Zillow Zestimates API, number, and say someone's going to contact you, right? And that's just not a great consumer experience. That's a classic bait and switch, right? And so where we went, and this is why we partnered with HomeBot as a platform, is that we believe consumers, especially homeowners, need a much deeper level of data and engagement, beyond just what is the value of their home, right? And what HomeBot provides and the rest of our tool set provides is context around that value in both the market conditions, but also like what their asset really means to them. So HomeBot, as an example, will tell you, like, based on your mortgage, here is your net worth on the home. If you changed your rate, here's how much it would save you. If you were to sell this home and buy an investment property, or refinance this home and buy an investment property, here's how much you can afford, right? So this data that that is just not out there in the public domain about their property, they're getting. At the same time, Ylopo is supplementing that with, here's the recently sold homes for sale. Here's all the market trends. Here's the graphs and all that stuff, right? So when a consumer comes into our seller experience, they're getting access to, in my opinion, the most sophisticated set of data that they can possibly get about their home, through our platform, a combination of Ylopo data and HomeBot data. And so when they register, not only do I have a great mousetrap to get these people to register because I'm giving them data they don't have access to somewhere else, but post-registration, instead of having this really poor experience of, oh, I fill out this form and I got no data whatsoever, or I have got nothing compelling, they actually log in and see a dashboard of everything I just said to you, right? And so it creates a much better experience post-registration in terms of building the relationship with that prospect as well. So we're seeing north of 11% conversion rate right now on our seller experience across those 50 clients, which is really good, right? For the type of leads we're generating. So maybe I went too deep there, but that's,
well, yeah, let me like, so now you can see, like, G and I are the original odd couple, right? So like I translate the genius of G. Okay. So at like a really high level, if that was a bit of kind of really in the weeds, right? The really high level, imagine you're a homeowner. Okay. You're a homeowner and you see an ad, right? And it's in your news feed, and it's like, some things just happened in your zip code, which changed the value of your home. You're like, oh, okay, let me see how my home value changed. And you engage, and now you become a potential listing lead for our clients, right? But then every once in a while, we're going to send you an email. We're going to show up in your newsfeed again through dynamic marketing. Like, other things are changing. New homes on the market, homes go pending, homes sell, increases, decreases, prices, right? And these things are always changing the value of your home. It's kind of like watching your stock portfolio go up and go down, right? So every single time a homeowner engages with that, it signals to our clients they're engaging. They might be interested in selling. They might be interested in pulling, equity out, right? So like that's why it's going to be compelling for mortgage folks too, right? But for real estate agents, I mean, when folks really start checking the financial DNA of their home, guess what? Signal, they may be looking to sell. And then look, buyers, like when people go out and search, they go to Google, right? And they start searching for homes. Guess what? 50 to 60% of them already own a home, and you can get in touch with them, although they technically came in as a buyer lead. Don't think twice about the fact that they're really a seller lead, right? Because they're going to have to sell a home before they buy a home. The first thing they do is look to see, where am I going? What can I afford, right? And so our clients, we have an amazing community, by the way, of folks are like, Jeff, our Ylopo success community, so active where everyone's helping everyone else, right? but everyone's coaching everyone. Like, you got to be asking, like, do you have a home to sell before you buy? Right.
Yeah.
And so you could pull out both the buyer and the seller. We call that the double dip.
I love that, man. And just for the record, G, as a dumb human being as I am, I was highly engaged. Like that was really good. Although I like the odd couple addition that what Howard did there. I loved it because Howard, you answered the question I was going to ask next, which is, so what are you saying if you're not saying what's my home worth? And Howard, you answered the question by saying, like, you're going deeper into the weeds. And this is what I want our listeners to pay attention to, is that, like, this is the way these guys think, man. They are thinking out ahead on how can we get the user, the Facebook user, I guess, the same thing. Does it work? How does that work on Google? So we all know how Facebook works, right? You're going to run ads that are going to trigger somebody to take an action, which is now going to be in your funnel, your agent's funnel. How does that work on the Google side of things from Ylopo's perspective? How do you, like, showing up at the top of a search list, I imagine, right? So you guys are trying to anticipate what people are typing in, the keyword wise?
Yeah. So their keyword set on a buy side, right, is going to be different than their keyword set on the sell side. And so we're constantly optimizing, and, G, this is what G does. So he can really, really talk about it. But again, like, the cool thing about Google, so like with social media, we're getting in front of them. We're getting in front of them early, right? Trying to get them out of the water before they end up at Zillow, right? With Google, they're going to Google and they're doing a search, whether they're a buyer, or they're doing a search, whether they're a seller. It's just the keyword sets are really, really different. But what G was talking about was, look, if you've got world-class home search, right? And people say, yeah, this is cool, I want to use this. You got a buyer lead, right? And if you've got this, like, world-class financial DNA of your home, people will register for that and become a seller lead. So that's at the very high level. G, you want to comment on it?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I mean, what we've found on the keyword side is that, first off, there are a very large number of underutilized keywords out there for homes for sale. And the reason for that is because, on the home search side, there is a really, really, quote unquote, long tail of the possible combinations of keywords people are looking for around, a particular location, right? And we see that as kind of expanding out the keywords in two directions. The first is, if you are targeting the city of Santa Monica as a location, right? We will look at every neighborhood, subdivision, zip code, etc., underneath Santa Monica and bid on all of those keywords as it relates to you, right? The second thing we're doing is that every single time a consumer actually sees the advertisement when they type in one of those keywords on the ad itself, rather than just saying, hey, there's a new Santa Monica homes for sale, we actually pull data directly from the MLS and drop into the advertisement, hey, there's 26 new homes for sale, 6 price reductions, 15 open houses, whatever the stats are, which becomes essentially a preview for the consumer of what type of data they're going to get at when they go deeper into the link, right? You're skipping them ahead a step. They don't have to click on the link to know what they're getting. They know what they're getting. And we see a much higher click-through rate on that, right? So by going deeper in the keywords that we're targeting, as well as deeper in the personalization of the advertisement, that's kind of really the secret on the keyword targeting side.
I love it. I love it. Have you guys ever thought, so I've become pretty good friends with Frank and Brian at National Real Estate Post, and we've been talking recently about a different strategy when you guys are talking about this keyword type of thing, or trying to capture that seller lead like before they even realize they want to sell, right? And now we're how many months into this pandemic, and we're about ready to head into a more uncertain times of how many potential foreclosures are going to come out of this, or how many people are getting behind, or how many people are about ready to get behind. Have you guys thought about targeting homeowners, saying almost like a message of, before this happens, you should talk to a real estate agent about potentially selling to avoid it. Go rent for a little while. And then when you get back on your feet, you can buy again. This is a strategy we've been talking about on one of our bi-weekly webinars with agents. Like, go nurture your database, educate those homeowners who don't realize the potential damage they're going to do to themselves if they get behind on their mortgage, what that's going to do to their credit, how they're not going to be able to buy again, et cetera, right? And get out ahead of it. You might gain a seller, gain a customer who's in love with you because you just saved their ass, and then they're a buyer in 6, 12, 18, 24 months. Have you guys had any conversations about any of that stuff now that we're, just going straight into where we are today?
Yeah, I would say that we haven't done anything specifically around this, but the way that you told that story, I think, is really compelling. And when you want to market a story or a narrative, to not your own database, right? Obviously, email or calling would be fantastic there. Facebook is the main game in town because you can use a lot of different advertisements, but our personal favorite is video ads. What we've seen the most success with is to take a narrative like what you're saying and turn it into a series of video ads that are no more than 30 seconds long. We have a creative director, on our team that will storyboard out all of these 30-second clips. And we will basically tell a sequential story. So if you watch one video, then we're going to put you in a different audience that you watch the next video and the next video and the next video, right? And over a period of time, you are able to, for instance, target homeowners in an area or target agents. This is what we're doing on the recruiting side, right? And able to kind of tell them that narrative and story, right? So that would be the strategy I would recommend for someone that wants to tackle that. It is not, I think, like a lead generation angle, but it's a great, I think, branding, branding angle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a nurture idea. So we've kind of, okay, so we digressed there and we really dived deep on partially what you guys are doing now. And partially, I think, where it's going. So you kind of talked about, and I think, Howard, the way you describe this is like, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're just trying to make it better. I guess that's the best way to describe it. I'd like to pick one of your brains or both of your brains and say, we talked about like the next level stuff. And this is totally hypothetical here, but I'm curious. And so I got to ask you, and I'm going to keep asking you until you give me a damn answer. Like, what is like that shiny object 12, 24 months from now that you think could be the next level of the world that Ylopo lives in?
Oh, geez. There's so many.
All right. Your favorite.
Yeah. I think right now my favorite personally is mission control. We have built out basically a marketing dashboard platform that allows agents to very easily understand what's going on with their digital marketing on Facebook or on AdWords in one simple place. They can access different marketing tools like Open House app or kind of reviews application or whatever it is that we offer, different types of reporting, right? And it's a platform that we built that I thought was, not in the market certainly at all 2 years ago. And we're really excited to completely revamp it. And one of the reasons we're revamping it is because we believe that this is a great digital marketing platform for brokerages. We have indie brokerages that have come to us and are already using our platform who are craving a digital marketing toolkit that gives them an advantage in the market, right? And all of that is going to be accessed from this really cool, really slick dashboard that we call Mission Control. So that's going to be real masterwork for Ylopo. It touches every part of our platform. And that's going to be our probably biggest focus for the first half of the year. And it's as big as home search. Like Howard said, we spent over a year now, over 7 figures rebuilding our home search because that is the core of everything that we're doing, right? From digital marketing to nurture to anything else. And this is a project that I'm immensely proud of releasing out. November 12th, we're going to announce it to all of our, current clients. And so next year I see the same thing for Mission Control. Howard, what are you most excited about?
I mean, I'm still super excited about dynamic video ads, video. I just think people, most folks, right, don't have the budget to spend on TV ads and radio and all that old school offline stuff is crazy expensive. But Facebook tells us all the time, our partners at Facebook are like, guys, video ads on social media are crazy cheap. Like you can get thousands and thousands of views for like hardly anything. And I think that even our own clients are underutilizing it. The ability to run basically TV ads at a touch of a button, right? Just instantly and smother your market gives you the advantage over the guys who are running the big TV ads, right? For a fraction of the budget. So putting the power of video, but here's the thing, right? The pain point is you're a real estate agent and you shoot a video and then you edit the video and then you upload the video. And now you got to figure out, how am I going to spend money on this video? And how do I format it for Facebook? How do I optimize it for Facebook versus Instagram versus YouTube, right? And that's like long and you're heavily invested in it and it's expensive, time consuming. But guess what? Like video ads on social media time out really quickly. So what we have, the thing that we're way out in front of everybody is the ability to create hundreds, if not thousands of these video ads with like 3 buttons, like literally 3 clicks, right? Because we're always producing more and more content and you can just basically drop your brand in, your geography in, choose your where you want to advertise it, put in $100 and bam, you're running a TV commercial all over the internet, right? So that's the thing I get like super, super excited about because, you can't beat the big guys at the national TV ad level, but you can crush them in the only market you care about, which is your local market.
Yeah. Not to mention the authenticity. And I didn't pay Howard to say that video is most important because anybody who knows me knows I've been barking that for years. I love that you said that. That is awesome. Okay, so here's one last question about the future, and I'll drop it. What do you see in like 5 years? Is Ylopo going to be like, you guys are going to be like living on Mars because of your success, or what do you see? What do you see in 5 years?
For ourselves, like for our company or for the industry?
Good question. Both.
So as I look around the corner, to really understand Ylopo, we don't need to oversell, the number of clients that have, Ylopo in our market. We are going to launch all the underlying tech we have, from lead generation to lead nurture, AI texting, dynamic video ads, right? All of it, right, is completely applicable to the mortgage industry. It's completely applicable to the insurance industry, right? Home insurance, auto insurance, all that. It's applicable to apartments, autos, like you name it, right? So to think that we're just going to be like sort of stay in the real estate space is to not know where we're going and where we are fully going to be. Not even 5 years from now, like next year. Like we launch that next mortgage vertical next year, insurance the year after that. Like we're going to keep going because to truly understand our company is to understand that we're building hardcore digital marketing technology that we are proving in the real estate space, but it's applicable to a lot of other spaces. So that's kind of where we're going. Where the industry is going, I think I see more and more of what's happened in like the insurance space, right? Where it's just become this oligopoly in insurance of people that are spending massive amounts of mass media to get eyeballs and market share, right? So for example, you can't watch TV or a sporting event without seeing an insurance commercial. Can't.
True.
Right? The Limu Emu and the Geico Gecko, right? And the Allstate guy and State Farm, like it's just endless, right? And those guys will never stop spending. And it's this oligopoly of people that will never stop spending because the second they stop spending, they lose market share. And you're going to see this play out in the real estate space. But what's different is that like you can go buy insurance with a click, right, online, or go buy insurance with a phone call, right? But the thing that everybody always forgets is that when you're buying or selling a home, it's the single biggest economic decision and impact in a consumer's life, because most of them aren't selling businesses, right? Buying and selling a home is a big, long, hairy, lengthy process. Will there be iBuyers? Sure. Like, will a percentage of the market do things really quickly with an iBuyer? Sure. But you're always going to have a big, big portion of the market who need a real estate agent. And the real estate agent is not just a salesperson. They are a counselor, advisor, right? I mean, they are a psychologist. They are there to do the heavy lifting, and it takes a while, right? So the cool thing is, while you're going to have all these big spenders, kind of spending from the top down and trying to figure out their business model, we're there to like equip the real estate teams, really the heart and soul, right? The agents, the teams, the independent brokerages, they're the heart and soul. And they're the ones that we can basically enable them to have that direct relationship with the consumer and dominate their local market. And that's where I see everything going. And that's where I still am not fearful, from our clients, because I know that we can equip them with all of the ammunition they need to dominate their market and fight off the big guys.
G?
I think Howard's our
He's like, yeah, what he said.
Visionary on the business side. I'm the visionary on the marketing side, right? The only other thing I would add to what Howard just said is it's really incredible to me how little people are taking advantage of video from an advertising perspective still. That's partly our fault because we have a great product in that world and we want to bring it forward. But if you look at how much traffic is being spent just overnight, on Reels and on, these type of platforms that are totally video based.
Yeah, TikTok. Yep.
Of course, TikTok, right? Where Reels came from. And I'm talking about Reels as a percentage of how much people spend time on Instagram, right? But I think that it's not inconceivable that 8 or 9 times you can get in front of a consumer, it's all going to happen on video. And most of the real estate advertising today that is happening inside Facebook is happening all on static ads, on carousels, and on content that is becoming quickly outdated, right? So that's why it's such a huge focus for us, because I think between that and YouTube and everything else, we can do some real damage with video advertising.
It's a visual world, baby. Video. And the diva, dynamic video ad technology, does not exist outside of our walls. It took us a year and a half, Jeff, to build it. And we just want to get it out to everybody.
I remember when it was in an infancy. That's exciting. I mean, and then, so G, you just brought it up. Do you foresee anything in the future that resembles something along the lines of the TikTok technology when it comes to video, the Reels technology? Because you mentioned it earlier, when it comes to video, it's 30 seconds or less. Well, TikTok kind of is changing the game and saying 15 seconds or less, which, they let you go to 60, but you guys, I mean, I've been watching, I talk to Aaron at Kiwi all the time, and we talk about video ideas, and everything's really, really short. What has your guys' opinion been? And then we'll wrap this up, of that kind of just, the meteoric rise of a TikTok as it relates to what you guys are doing, because I know you both have been paying attention. I imagine you have been. You've been watching, it's going to get shut down. It's Chinese, blah, blah, blah. Right. And now here we are. It's here to stay. It's the future of social media. How do you guys see apps like that? Or do you see it playing into your world?
Absolutely. I mean, again, I said it before, right? Jab, jab, right hook, jab, jab, right hook, right? So consumers are, they're on Google, they're on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Pinterest, TikTok, right? And so it's really, we're waiting sometimes at Ylopo, we're waiting for some of those platforms to catch up. They've got the audience, right? Their audience leads, but then they got to catch up with their digital marketing ad products that we can then play onto. And like we did with Facebook, then we'll lead that charge. We'll work with them. We'll roll up our sleeves with those companies and be the first to bring it to real estate. So give our clients that competitive advantage. So Jeff, you're right on it, right? But we just have to be on that bleeding edge, and we just wait. Like we wait for, like, even with Pinterest, right? When they're ready for prime time, we got a lot of people in a great demographic group that are looking at homes and kitchens and bathrooms and home decor all the time on that platform. You and I love it, right? But we got to wait for their ad tech to catch up a little bit. As soon as they do, we'll roll up our sleeves with those guys, and they love us, right? Because like, oh, we'll help them figure out the real estate industry, right?
Yeah, I love it.
That's how I see it.
I love it. I love it. G, anything to add to that?
You nailed it.
I love it. I love it. And you know what? And that, folks, right there, if you think, again, I'll say it for like the third or fourth time, I'm pretty dumb, but the one place I'll give myself credit is I surround myself with people like this, because that's the room I want to be in. And that's the room you should want to be in, because listen to what Howard just said, man. I mean, if you're just now getting into Facebook ads, you've got some catching up to do. And if you haven't started doing video, you've got some catching up to do, but there's still massive, massive, massive opportunity. And you know what? The good news is you don't have to go out and become the expert. Just talk to these guys, and they basically do it for you. And you're going to have all this sexy mission control, and you're going to have Diva, and you're going to have Raya. You're going to have all these awesome things behind you. They're going to make you look like a badass real estate agent. You could dominate your community. Fellas, this has been fantastic. Do you have any closing remarks? Anything you want to add?
First thing is, I'm not going to let you say any more that you're dumb, right? Because we are all smart in different ways. Jeff, I know that you're a really smart cookie, and I know you're awesome at what you do. And I'm not going to let you say that you're dumb anymore, because we all know, and everybody in the audience knows differently, right? So we're all smart in different ways. That's one thing. If you study the psychology of intelligence, there's like 7 different forms of intelligence, right? So we're all smart in different ways, and you are a crazy smart cat. We really appreciate the ability to be on this podcast. We love LabCoat. We love Tristan. We love Jeff. We love Nick. We love everybody there. So just thank you, thank you, thank you.
Awesome. G, you are a brilliant gentleman. Thank you for giving us your time. I look forward to seeing you guys again. What's next on the event horizon? Anything?
Waiting, man. We're waiting like everybody else. And the second that we can all get together in a big number, right, in person, I'm going to move really quickly. The forecast is that we could be talking about 2,000 agents at the next in-person Ylopo Success Summit, which is a life-changing event. But when it will be, my friend, I don't have the answer to that.
That's right. If you weren't there, October of 19 last year, it was a killer event. It was a good time. Gentlemen, I look forward to that day. Put my name on the list right now. I will be there, and I look forward to talking mortgage shop with you guys anytime. It's going to be a lot of fun. Folks, get on the bus, man. Do not miss out on opportunities to hitch your wagons to platforms like Ylopo, because it can change your life. It can change your business. Gentlemen,
appreciate you, brother.
It's been great to see you both.
All right.
LabCoatAgents Podcast.